The human hand is a marvel of nature. It has 27 small bones, each connected by delicate joints and ligaments. These bones let us write, draw, play music, and build things. But that flexibility comes with a price. The hand is fragile. When you curl your fingers into a fist, you're stacking tiny bones together. They aren't built to take heavy impacts. The hand evolved for precision, for holding and touching, not for smashing against hard objects. Think about the things you do every day: typing on a phone, holding a cup, tying your shoes. All these actions need a working, uninjured hand. A broken hand is more than a fight injury. It's a huge problem for daily life. If you lose the use of your hand, even for a few weeks, life gets hard. That's why understanding its limits is so important, especially in real self-defense. Why do so many people think punching is the best way to defend themselves? The answer lies in what we see on screens. Action movies and boxing matches show heroes and athletes throwing punches that drop opponents instantly. It looks cool and powerful. Hollywood loves the closed fist. On film, every fight is a punch fest, with actors landing blows and walking away unharmed. But these scenes are choreographed. The actors fake punches and nobody gets hurt. In real life, things are different. Sports like boxing and mixed martial arts made the punch famous. But sports are not street fights. Boxers use big gloves and careful training. They punch because the rules say they must. The gloves protect their hands, not their heads. People copy what they see. They think a closed fist is the best weapon. But the reality is less glamorous and much more dangerous for your own body. Let's look closer at the hand. The bones of the fingers, called phalanges, are thin and light. The knuckles, where you strike with a punch, are just the ends of these bones. Underneath, nerves and tendons run close to the surface. When you punch something hard, all that force travels through your knuckles to the rest of your hand. The metacarpal bones, which run from your wrist to your fingers, have little protection. They can break if you hit something solid. Your wrist is another weak spot. If your fist isn't perfectly lined up, the wrist bends, sprains, or even snaps. Boxers spend years learning how to punch straight and still get injured. Imagine the risks for someone untrained. A fist is not a hammer. It's a complex tool made for fine work, not blunt force. Using it the wrong way is asking for trouble. One of the most common and painful hand injuries you can get from punching is called the boxer's fracture. It's a name that sounds tough and rugged, but the reality is far from glamorous. Despite the name, a boxer's fracture is simply a break in the bone of your pinky finger, specifically the metacarpal bone that connects your finger to your wrist. It's a fragile spot that takes the brunt of a poorly thrown punch. This injury usually happens when you hit something hard with a closed fist, like a wall, a door, or even someone's skull. The force travels through your knuckles and snaps the bone. The pain is immediate and intense. The boxer's fracture hurts a lot, often more than people expect. Your hand swells up quickly, turning purple and bruised. The knuckles may look deformed, and you'll find it nearly impossible to grip anything or make a fist. Most of the time, the bone needs to be set by a doctor, sometimes with a painful procedure to realign it. In more severe cases, surgery is required to fix the fracture, using pins or plates to hold the bone together while it heals. Recovery isn't quick. It can take weeks or even months, and there's always a risk your hand may never regain its full strength or flexibility. Imagine trying to open a door, brush your teeth, tie your shoes, or button a shirt with a broken hand. Everyday tasks suddenly become huge challenges. Even the simplest things, like holding a cup or typing on your phone, can become hard or even impossible, leading to constant frustration. A fight that lasts just a few seconds can cost you weeks of pain, expensive medical bills, and lost work or missed opportunities. This isn't a rare accident. Emergency rooms see these injuries all the time,
especially after fights or accidents. Many people break their hands in real fights, and most regret it as soon as the adrenaline fades and the pain sets in. The punch might end the fight, but it also ends your day-to-day comfort, making even the most basic parts of life a struggle you never expected.
Section 5. Ancient Wisdom, Palms, Elbows and Forearms. This section explores the fascinating history and practical power of using the palms, elbows and forearms in combat. These techniques have been passed down for generations, and for good reason. So, long before modern boxing became popular, fighters actually relied on a variety of different tools, not just their fists. In fact, the closed fist was often considered risky, so ancient warriors looked for safer, more effective ways to strike. Ancient martial arts from Asia, Europe, and Africa all taught open hand strikes, elbow blows, and forearm smashes. These moves were universal, showing up in everything from kung fu and karate to Greek pankration and African wrestling. Why did they do this? Well, it's because these parts of the body are naturally stronger and much safer than the delicate bones of the fist. The palm, elbow, and forearm can absorb and deliver force without as much risk of injury. The palm heel, for example, is that thick padded area at the base of your hand. It's designed to take impact and can hit really hard without risking your knuckles or small hand bones. This makes it perfect for powerful strikes, especially in self-defense situations. Elbows and forearms are even tougher. Honestly, they're built like clubs, with dense muscle and bone. When you swing an elbow or smash with your forearm, you're using some of the hardest parts of your body, making these strikes devastatingly effective. They can break through defenses and cause real damage. In fact, a well-placed elbow or forearm strike can shatter boards, stun opponents, and even end a fight quickly. Karate, kung fu, and even old-school wrestling have moves that use open hands. These techniques aren't just for show. They're practical, efficient, and have stood the test of time in real combat. Soldiers and warriors throughout history learned to keep their hands safe, Protecting your hands meant you could keep fighting, grip weapons, and survive longer in battle. They knew a broken hand could end a battle, or even a life. That's why so much emphasis was placed on using the palm, elbow, and forearm instead of risking a broken fist. These techniques may look less dramatic than a punch, but in real fights, they actually work better and keep you in the fight. By using the body's natural weapons, you can strike harder, stay safer, and outlast your opponent, just like the ancient masters intended. Boxing gloves really changed the fight game. They didn't just add a layer of padding, they completely transformed how fighters approached every round, every punch, and every opponent. Before gloves, bare-knuckle fighters would aim for softer targets like the body, the jaw, or even the stomach. The hands were their only weapons, and they knew just how fragile those bones could be. They avoided punching the skull because they knew just how risky that was for their own hands. One wrong hit could break a knuckle or shatter a finger, ending a fight or even a career instantly. But once gloves were added, fighters could punch harder and, honestly, way more often. The gloves gave them confidence to throw punches they'd never risk barehanded. The padding protected their hands, not the person being hit. It allowed fighters to unleash their full power without worrying about self-injury. Suddenly, it became possible to land dozens of punches to the head in a single match. The head, once a risky target, became the main focus. This led to more knockouts and, unfortunately, more brain injuries. The spectacle increased, but so did the danger. Modern studies show that gloves actually let fighters take risks they wouldn't dare without that extra protection. The science is clear. Gloves change not just the fight, but the fighter's mindset. Fighters end up punching the head again and again. The repeated trauma adds up, round after round, year after year. The result? More concussions and long-term brain damage. The very thing meant to protect fighters actually puts their brains at greater risk. Gloves made the sport safer for hands, but more dangerous for brains. It's a trade-off that's still debated today.
In real life, you don't have gloves. Every punch comes with real consequences, not just for your opponent, but for your own body. Your hands need to last a lifetime. So whether you're in the ring or out in the world, remember, protecting your hands is important, but protecting your brain is even more vital.
Think of what happens when someone punches a wall in anger. Almost every hospital has seen a broken hand caused by this. The wall just doesn't move. Your delicate knuckles take the full force. It's the same in a fight. If you punch someone's skull, it's basically like hitting a wall. The head is round, hard, and built to protect the brain. Your fist is likely to lose that contest. Even a punch to the face can break your hand on a tooth or jawbone. Try this. Gently tap your palm heel against a wall, then try the same with your knuckles. Feel the difference? The palm absorbs the shock better. Now imagine doing it at full force. In real life, the strong survive by protecting themselves, not by copying movie heroes. Using an open hand is not just safer, it's smarter. Open hands let you strike, push, grab, and block. You can control your opponent, not just hurt them. This is super important in self-defense, where the real goal is to escape, not destroy. From a legal point of view, open hands look a lot less aggressive. In court or on camera, you want to show you tried to defend yourself, not attack. Open hands help you explain that you wanted to stop the fight, not start it. Tactically, an open hand keeps you ready for anything. You can slap, push, or even grab a weapon. You can change your move in an instant. A closed fist really locks you into just one action. Being flexible and in control is how you win in real life, not just in the ring. Your hands are your tools for life. They help you work, play, and care for others. Breaking them in a fight isn't a sign of toughness. It's a mistake you might regret for years. Ancient warriors trained their bodies to survive, not just to look cool. They aimed for soft targets, like the throat, ribs, solar plexus, or liver, not the hard skull. They used the parts of the body built for impact palms, elbows, and forearms. Modern life isn't any different. You need your hands every single day. Save the fist for holding, not hitting. Think about what really makes you strong. Skill, control, and the power to protect, not just to hurt. Next time you imagine defending yourself, remember, the real weapon is a smart, safe hand, not a broken fist.